The morning that changed the world. On the clear, sunny morning of September 11, 2001, life in the United States started like any other ordinary day. People went to work, children headed to school, and flights took off as scheduled. However, by 8:46 a.m. Eastern Time, everything changed forever. American Airlines Flight 11, a Boeing 767 hijacked by terrorists, crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center in New York City. Initially, confusion reigned. Many believed it to be a tragic accident, but just 17 minutes later, at 9:03 a.m., United Airlines Flight 175 struck the South Tower. It became clear that America was under attack. Within the next hour, two more planes would be used as weapons. American Airlines Flight 77 crashed into the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia at 9:37 a.m., and United Airlines Flight 93 crashed into a field near Shanksville, Pennsylvania at 10:03 a.m. after passengers heroically fought back against the hijackers. The fourth plane was believed to be headed toward the White House or the U.S. Capitol. The human toll. The human cost of the 9/11 attacks was staggering. Nearly 3,000 people lost their lives, including passengers on the planes, first responders, office workers, and civilians from over 90 countries. The World Trade Center's iconic Twin Towers, symbols of New York's skyline and global commerce, collapsed within hours, burying thousands in rubble and dust. Emergency services sprang into action. Firefighters, police officers, and paramedics rushed to ground zero. Many never returned. The New York City Fire Department, FDNY, lost 343 members, the single greatest loss of life for emergency responders in a single event in American history. Osama bin Laden and al-Qaeda responsibility for the attacks was quickly traced to Osama bin Laden and his terrorist network, al-Qaeda. Bin Laden, a Saudi national, had long harbored grievances against the United States, citing its military presence in the Middle East and support for Israel as justification for jihad. Al-Qaeda had already shown its capacity for violence with the 1998 U.S. embassy bombings in Kenya and Tanzania and the 2000 bombing of the USS Cole. The 9/11 attacks, however, represented a new level of coordination, ambition, and destruction. The attack plan. The attacks were planned years in advance and executed by 19 hijackers who were trained by al-Qaeda. These men entered the U.S. legally, many as students, and underwent flight training in various parts of the country. Once in position, they hijacked 4 planes, each selected for their fuel load and destination, turning them into deadly missiles. The plan aimed to cripple America's financial, military, and political infrastructure. The World Trade Center represented economic power, the Pentagon military strength, and the fourth plane's intended target symbolized democratic governance. America responds. The U.S. response was immediate and forceful. That evening, President George W. Bush addressed the nation, vowing justice. "We will make no distinction between the terrorists who committed these acts and those who harbor them," he declared. Congress quickly passed the authorization for use of military force, giving the president broad powers to combat terrorism. On October 7, 2001, the United States launched Operation Enduring Freedom, invading Afghanistan to dismantle al-Qaeda and remove the Taliban regime that had sheltered them. Global impact in the war on terror. The 9/11 attacks reshaped global politics and security. Nations around the world rallied behind the U.S., offering support and solidarity. NATO invoked Article 5 of its charter for the first time in history, declaring the attack on one member as an attack on all. The war on terror expanded over the years, leading to increased security measures worldwide. Airports introduced rigorous screening protocols. Intelligence agencies enhanced surveillance. Governments enacted counterterrorism legislation. The U.S. also established the Department of Homeland Security and launched domestic security initiatives like the USA Patriot Act. Critics raised concerns about civil liberties, surveillance, and racial profiling, issues that continue to provoke debate today. Rebuilding and remembering. In the aftermath, a massive cleanup operation began at Ground Zero. Recovery efforts lasted months and rebuilding took years. In 2014, One World Trade Center, also known as the Freedom Tower, opened at the site standing 1,776 feet tall, a symbolic number referencing American independence. The 9/11 Memorial and Museum now honor the victims and tell the story of that tragic day. Twin reflecting pools sit where the original towers stood, engraved with the names of all who perished. Each year on September 11th, ceremonies are held across the U.S. to honor the fallen. Moments of silence mark the times of each impact, collapse, and crash. Legacy and reflection. September 11th, 2001, was more than an attack on America. It was an assault on the values of freedom, democracy, and human dignity. Yet from the ashes rose stories of heroism, resilience, and unity. Firefighters ascending smoke-filled stairwells, strangers helping one another through debris, passengers sacrificing their lives to prevent more destruction. The legacy of 9/11 is a reminder of humanity's capacity for both destruction and compassion. It taught the world the importance of vigilance, dialogue, and peace-building. Today, educators, leaders, and citizens continue to reflect on the lessons of that day, striving to build a safer, more understanding world. The September 11th attacks marked a turning point in modern history. They exposed vulnerabilities but also revealed strengths. They brought sorrow but also inspired courage. As the world moves forward, remembering September 11th means honoring those who were lost, supporting those who survived, and working toward a future where such a tragedy never happens again.